Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural edition of Springford Live. I'm Bruce Blewett here with Lisa Wetzel.
Thank you, Bruce. We'll be examining our athletics, our choral department, and drama. And I should note that the drama department will be putting on the Christmas Carol Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th, and both nights will be at 7.
All right, now let's start off and send it over to Justin Delpino with Mr. McDaniel.
Thank you, Bruce. Every school has their extracurricular activities. Here at Springford, we're well known for our sports. With us is Mr. McDaniel, the athletic director. He's going to help us go in depth. Thank you for joining us.
Justin, it's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for having me.
What qualities does it take to be an athlete at Springford?
Justin, it takes those same qualities to be an athlete as it does to be a top-notch student or a top-notch musician or artist. It takes a passion for what sport or program you're involved in. It takes determination, persistence. It takes goal setting. It also takes a great attitude. You're going to have to fight through some tough times to be an athlete, and you've got to learn to get through those times. It's no different than being in the classroom or out in everyday walk of life.
Is there anything you think the community should know about the teams here at Springford?
Well, one thing that sometimes I think gets overlooked is we have some terrific young ladies and young men participating in our programs. They're solid citizens, they're tremendous sportsmen. They're also very strong academically, and for example, our class last year, the class of 2002, in the top 10 class rank, 9 of those 10 were athletes. Number 1 in the class was an athlete up through 10th grade. We also were 15 of the top 20, and 33 out of the 67 National Honor Society members were athletes. So we're very proud of that, and this year's class looks like they're going to follow in the same footsteps.
Where do the Springford sports rank in Pennsylvania to other schools?
Well, we've developed some great tradition here at Springford, and in our winter sports, for example, wrestling is one of the better known teams throughout the state of Pennsylvania. They've been quite successful, not only in District 1, but have sent a number of wrestlers to the state who have performed very well at that level. Our boys basketball team in the winter has really had a nice run in the Pioneer Athletic Conference and has also been known out in District 1 as one of the better teams. And our girls basketball program has made some strong strides in the last few years and in our league, and they're looking to also make a name for itself in the District 1 play.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Now, let's take it back to Lisa.
Thank you, Justin. One of our hot teams this year is the boys basketball team, and here to tell us more is Josh Moser.
A certain team hits the hardwood every year. This team is the Springford Rams basketball team. After a disappointing loss to Perkins Valley in last year's Pac-10 semifinals, this year's team has something to prove.
I feel a lot of teams in our league have something to prove, but we have a lot to prove, especially because last year we got kicked out in the first round against PV, and everyone's fighting this year for championships, and we want to win that.
I feel we have something to prove because we got knocked out of the finals last year in like the first round, just like everybody else.
Something to prove, yes, every year. I mean, we're looking forward to the season, and in terms of proving things from last year, this is a whole new team, so we want to go out and represent our school very well.
Preparation is the key to success for any team. That is why players must come into the season in playing condition.
Before the season, we ran after school at the track on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we lifted in the weight room and practice every day.
We go to a lot of tournaments over the summer at colleges. We go to Alvernia, Kutztown. We practice every day. We had intramurals before practices.
Work hard. We go to tournaments. We practice 6 days a week, and Coach works us hard.
For the Rams to be successful this season, the leaders are going to have to share the wealth.
Every team needs their own role players, and they'll definitely help us to get some extra wins.
The younger kids look up to the role players, and that will help our team in the future.
Not only will the players learn to work with others, they will also learn how to be members of society.
Coach teaches us like responsibility, being on time, and being a good person.
First of all, the most important thing is their academics, because that's going to help them go places, whether it's a college or whatever they have an interest in doing. Secondly, it's important that they learn life skills, responsibility, teamwork, being on time.
This team is ready to hang another Pac-10 championship banner on the rafters of this gymnasium. From the hardwood at Springford, I'm Josh Moser for WSF TV.
Thank you, Josh. Hi, Jess.
Hello.
Since you were able to watch the boys basketball team one-on-one, can you tell me a little bit about their strengths for this season?
Well, I believe one of their biggest strengths this season is their dedication to the team and to the sport itself. They put in many long hours for practicing for the Pac-10, and they work very hard to get where they are now, and I believe without their dedication, then it wouldn't be possible for them to achieve what they have now.
Do you think they have a shot at Pac-10s this year?
Oh, they definitely have a shot at Pac-10. By watching their games, they have great teamwork, and they work very hard together, and without that, then they can't get to the Pac-10, but they have great teamwork. So.
All right, thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Now back to Bruce, who will be telling us more about the girls basketball team.
Thank you, Lisa. Now, as Lisa hinted, a lot is expected of the girls basketball team this year. Let's find out exactly what that is.
This year's girls varsity basketball team is coming off of a 15-9 record. They also held the longest consecutive winning streak of 9 games. Even though last year was a highly respectful season for the girls basketball team, their expectation and team goals for the 2002-2003 season are greater than they were last season.
Expectations this year are to return to Final Four and win it because we've been working hard and we deserve it.
Since we have such a strong team this year, our goal is to win Pac-10s and go further than we ever have in districts.
Varsity head coach, Mr. Jeff Ryan, has been guiding the Springford girls team for the past 9 seasons. His coaching record prior to this season was 107 wins to 79 losses. When asked about his practice and game strategies, this is what he had to say.
We try to make our practices very intense and try to keep the intensity level up for the whole year. The constant pounding on your legs, that takes a toll, and with only 20-some kids, they get a lot of work in. And, you know, the philosophy is we try to make our practices so intense that, you know, the game seems easy even though it's really not.
Helping to boost her teammates during their difficult practices and games is senior Erin Mengel, with her key to success for the team.
I try to set a good example for my teammates, and I give them support and try to keep positive encouragement.
The coaching staff and team decided to break away from their usual Christmas tournament by traveling to Orlando, Florida to play during Christmas break. We asked senior Hillary Tutrani what the significance of the tournament is.
We're going down to compete in a tournament with strong teams from all over. We're all looking forward to it, and it should be a fun experience.
Come out and support the girls' basketball team as they strive to meet their expectation and team goals for the 2002-2003 season. For them, it's all about attempting to
raise the bar!
Thank you. Now I'm here with Rachel Harsh, who knows a lot about the girls' basketball team. Now, Rachel, I saw a lot to like about the girls' basketball team itself. So what exactly are their strengths?
Well, through several conversations with Coach Reinheimer, he feels that this is one of the first years he has a whole group of girls that really know the concepts and the aspects of the game of basketball, which he's really excited about because now it's a lot easier for him to coach and he can get through the season a lot easier.
Now, from what you saw and during filming and things like that, do you think that basketball teaches the girls life lessons that they can take along with them?
Oh, it absolutely does. The girls really are learning how to work together as a team, and they can take that concept of how to work with others with them, with the years they have ahead of them. And also, there's a couple girls that are really showing strong leadership capabilities, and it's allowing them to all together be a better team.
All right, thank you very much, Rachel. All right, now let's send it over to Lisa Wetzel to spend a little time on wrestling.
Thanks, Bruce. This year's wrestling team has high hopes, coming off with a 3rd place finish at the Wissahickon tournament this past weekend. And here's a short story about the wrestling team.
Wrestling is a sport that pays homage to time-honored tradition, discipline, and hard work. Revered by its members as a sport that builds character, wrestling has long been a staple in Springford sports. Head wrestling coach Mr. Seislov comments on the rigors of his program.
We push the kids pretty hard. They realize that to be in our program, you have to work hard, and it requires a lot of commitment and discipline. And we put the demands on the kids to work as probably as hard as they ever have.
Wrestling also sets standards for young athletes to live by.
A lot of discipline. You gotta be on time all the time, come to practice every day. We do a lot of extras, come in the morning and lift, run.
A typical practice may test the mental and physical endurance of the wrestlers.
A typical practice, we usually spend about the first
15 minutes, we do our stretching and warm-ups. We usually drill for a little while, practice our moves, do a little bit of teaching, show them some new moves, and then try to do a little bit of live wrestling at the end and some conditioning that way.
Being a senior wrestler takes on added responsibility.
Role as a senior is to set an example for all the underclassmen, show them how things are done with our program.
Yeah, we're a leader on the team, and we have to go hard to make everybody else go hard.
The Springford wrestlers have yet to face their biggest competitors.
Well, there's some darn good teams in the Pac-10. Upper Perk and Boyertown not only have two of the better teams in the league, they have two of the better teams in all of District 1 in the state. So we have our work cut out with those two, and we're right in that middle mix with O&J's solid, Phoenixville, Perkiomen Valley returns a slew of starters. So it's going to be we got a tough road ahead of us.
Thank you. I'm here with senior Shane Eisenhower. Hi, Shane.
Hi, how you doing?
How do you think the wrestling team is looking so far this season?
Well, actually looking pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do to be a wrestler. There's like two parts to it. There's a physical and a mental part to it. On the physical side, they have to come in really early in the morning and then stay after school to lift, and it takes a long time to lift. Mm-hmm. And then they practice right after school every day too. And also they have to maintain a strict diet and keep their weight down so they can wrestle in each weight classes. And on the mental side, they have to have a lot of discipline in order to come to practice every day and lift every day also. And they have to make sure they know all the wrestling moves so that when they're wrestling other opponents, they can anticipate the moves before they do it. And also they have to keep their grades up pretty high so they can stay on the wrestling team.
All right, can you tell me a little bit about the win this past weekend at Wissahickon?
Well, they placed third place at the Southeastern Classic. And Mike Teschlag and Mike Moley kept it up with silver medals, and they also won 8 medals.
Thank you. Now let's send it over to Justin Del Pino with Ms. Durazio, the cheerleading coach.
Thank you. Many people are misinformed on what cheerleading really entails. Here to help us today is Springford's very own Ms. Durazio. She's the cheerleading coach here at Springford. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, congratulations. This past Saturday, you guys got first place in the Henderson High competition for a cheerleading squad.
Yes, we did.
Is this the first time you ranked first place?
Yes, it is. The girls worked very hard. They came out and performed an almost flawless competition routine. Their stunts hit. They were completely on with their smiles and their emotions, and they put on a great performance and brought home a first place trophy.
To go into it, what kind of sacrifices did the cheerleaders have to make besides the time at practice?
Both JV and varsity girls decided that they wanted to go to this competition, so both squads had a huge sacrifice. The JV squad also placed, and they got a second place, which is something first time for them also. Both squads had to not only condition themselves in the fitness center after practices and running, stretching, but they also had to practice some evenings. We had to come in before some of our basketball games and also some late night practices.
Thank you, Ms. Durazio, and let's take it back to Bruce.
Thank you, Justin and Ms. Durazio. Now let's get a more in-depth look at the cheerleading squad with Andy Marcus.
Who thinks cheerleading is a sport? Not many people do, but the cheerleaders put as much or even more time and effort than most athletes. How often do you practice?
Every day, usually 3 to 5:30, some evenings 5 to 7, occasional 6 a.m. practice, and sometimes we even try to get in an hour or two before a game, especially during competition time.
So what are the cheerleaders doing this winter?
This winter we are going to be cheering at all the boys basketball games, both home and away, and we're also going to be competing in several local competitions.
Some of the cheerleaders' favorite thing in the winter is basketball games. Others, competition. Others can't make up their mind.
My favorite part of the winter season is cheering at the basketball games, of course, because they're a lot of fun, and there's a lot of students there, so it's kind of interactive. And also competition because we go and usually we have a lot of fun and you get together and hopefully we'll place this year. So basically competition and games.
My favorite part of the winter season is definitely competition. I like to compete more than I like to cheer at games, but I do like basketball games more than football games, so that's exciting.
Probably competitions and bus rides on away games.
The cheerleaders are working really hard this year, and the girls' expectations are high. The main goal this year is
Place so we can go to Maryland in February.
My biggest goal is for the girls to achieve their highest potential. Both squads are incredible with talent and skill and attitude, and I just want to see them do well at competition and with their season cheering at basketball games.
So go to a Spring Ford basketball game and see the cheerleaders' hard work and dedication pay off. That's it from the peppiest team in Springford. I'm Andy Marcus. Let's send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Andy. Now I'm here with Kelly Early to tell us more about cheerleading. Now, Kelly, I heard that January is a very busy month for cheerleaders. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, in January the cheerleaders have 2 more competitions, and this helps them prepare for their trip to Maryland.
What exactly happens in Maryland that you speak of?
Well, in Maryland, there's a national cheerleading competition called Reach the Beach, and the cheerleaders are going down for 3 days and competing on one of those days. In order to get to this competition, they had to place in the top 3 at a local competition, and recently they achieved this by taking a first place finish at Westchester Henderson High School. So I just want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, Kelly, and congratulations goes out to the girls' cheerleading team. All right, now it's time to go over to Justin again with Mr. Nickel.
Here at Springford, the choral department just doesn't sing at the school. They travel and go on trips all across the nation to compete. Here today, we have Mr. Nickel to tell us more. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Okay, now I understand they go on trips, but what does that entail? Like, what do they do?
We've taken trips in the past to Williamsburg, Virginia, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, New York City, and each time the chorus members and the band compete, and we also do some sightseeing.
Okay.
We have the men's choir, women's choir, vocal ensemble, concert choir, jazz band, concert band, marching band, all compete in these competitions.
Okay, what's the trip this year for the choral group?
This year we're planning to go to Orlando, Florida for 5 days. One of the days will be all the competitions, vocal competitions and instrumental competitions. Another day is the marching band competitions, and the rest of the time will be spent seeing the sights around Disney World.
Oh, that's good. Besides that trip, do they do anything else? Like, is that the only thing that they get to do this year?
No, Pennsylvania has an organization, Pennsylvania Music Educators Association, that most high schools in the state belong to, and they run festivals during the year. District festival, regional festival, and states. 2 weeks ago, we had 15 students audition for the district festival, and 7 of them made it. They will be going on in January to the festival itself, re-auditioning for regionals, and at the regional festival, they re-audition for states.
Okay.
3 years ago, we had 2 boys make it to states, which was our first for the vocal department. Last year, we had 1 girl make it to states.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Now let's get a little more in-depth look about the Springford Chorus.
Springford's High School Chorus, although not known by many students as a renowned organization here at the high school, is in fact a phenomenal group of students that add cheer and give a new meaning to the holiday season. This, all under the direction of Mr. David Nickel.
Okay, I have an awesome group of students. I have about 150 students in the chorus. In choosing the music, I like to find out what type of voice we have. We have a lot of sopranos, altos, that type of thing, and then I choose the music accordingly. I try to choose music of different styles. I try to have them do music of different languages, just to broaden their horizons as far as the style and the language of music.
As the years have passed, the talent of the students has increased greatly, with seniors to add 4 years of great experience and freshmen to turn new ideas into willing contributions.
Springford Chorus is excellent, and the students that are in the chorus work really hard.
But it's not just the singers that make this 100-plus chorus great. Without Joe Perry and his beloved piano, it just would not be the award-winning chorus that it is today.
This year the choir is doing really good. They're much improved from last year. Right, it's nice how large it is, and how well in tune everybody's singing this year.
At the conclusion of the holiday season, what does the Springford Chorus have in store for us in the spring?
In the spring, we broaden our musical experiences to men's choir, women's choir, sometimes jazz choir, if there's interest in it, Tri-County Honors Choir, which is an audition choir.
The Springford Chorus will continue to gain respect in the music community and further the joy of music in today's youth.
All right, now joining us is the narrator of that piece, Mr. John Garrett. Now, John, you've been in chorus yourself a long time. Could you tell us your personal opinion of the after-school activity itself?
My personal opinion, Bruce, is very high. I look very highly upon Mr. Nickel and all the students that dedicate time and energy into putting on a good show every year, twice, one in the spring, one in the winter, and I think that they really show for it.
Mr. Nickel, as you mentioned before, he probably has had, as we know, an effect on a lot of the students in the past. What kind of effect do you think he has had on them and kids today?
I think a lot of kids this year and in the years past plan on majoring in music education, and Mr. Nickel gives them a lot of information that won't be likely in a college atmosphere. He knows how to, he teaches music, teaches people how to sing, play the piano. He also teaches concepts of teamwork and other abilities that would be very likely in the career of teaching.
All right. Now let's send it over to Justin Del Pino and Mr. Manowski, the head of the Springford Drama Department.
Mr. Manowski, besides your upcoming show, what goes into picking the shows for performances at Springford?
Well, one of the first things I have to do is I have to take a look at my cast of what students do I have available to me. My seniors and juniors that have been dedicated to the theater for the last couple of years. And that gives me an idea of what size show I can do, whether I can do a big cast show like Christmas Carol, which has like 60 people, 50, 60 people in it, or whether I should do a show like Curious Savage, which we did last year, which has about 11 or 12 people in it. Once I know the cast size, then I can start going through catalogs and looking for shows that fit the size of the cast I have. And then I started thinking about my actors and what would be good for them. I like them to have experiences with dramatic pieces like The Visit that we did a couple years ago, and comedies. And I like to make sure that they're versed in things like Shakespeare, and which is something I'm thinking about doing next year. So those are all the things I take into consideration.
Okay. What things in college did you learn that you use day to day when directing in your acting class or even on stage?
I learned so much in my college, and it wasn't really from classwork. A lot of it wasn't from classwork. A lot of it was from experience. I got to direct my first musical there with the Student Community Theater. I directed Do Black Patent Leather Shoes Really Reflect Up?
It's a good show.
Yeah. And I also directed Extremities by William Master Simone, which is a very dramatic piece. Okay. I also got to work with large cast shows and small cast shows, dramas, comedies, musicals, and just the experience of working with those different types of shows it was very valuable to what I'm doing now. Also, just the practicalness of being in the classwork and learning about the different directing styles and different acting styles. So I learned a lot of it in shows.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manowski. Now let's take it back to Lisa to find out more information on Springford Theater Department.
Thank you, Justin. Now I'm here with senior Sean Regal. Hi, Sean.
How you doing?
Do you think this play, Christmas Carol, is one of Springford's more memorable ones?
Well, I'd say it has to be, just because the story is well known and it just brings a lot of joy around the holiday, and being Christmas and everything, it's just going to be a good atmosphere.
Yeah, I love Christmas. What's yet to come for Springford Theater?
Well, Mr. Manowski doesn't like to reveal any of his secrets, so for the spring, the musical is not, he doesn't give out any secrets, so I'm not too sure yet.
I guess we have to be surprised.
Guess so.
Thank you. Here's Dara Reese with more about A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol is about a journey, one man in one night that changes his life. He has to go, he's guided through the past, the present, and the future, and he learns something about himself and life in general.
This year, Springford High School presents Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. The classic Christmas tale has been enjoyed through the years by people everywhere. Mr. Manowski hopes to bring this joy to this generation.
One of the things I was looking forward to is not just making this the story of Christmas Carol, but adding all the spirit of Christmas into it, like the dancing and the singing and everything that's associated with Christmas.
Let's find out a little bit more about the actors and the roles they play in the show.
Ebenezer Scrooge has taken a long journey himself from childhood through middle adulthood and now nearing the end of his life. And as time goes on, more and more circumstances work against him, and instead of living life to the fullest, he kind of closes himself off.
I play Cratchit in the Christmas Carol. Scrooge, kind of like a little helper that he pays horribly and treats horribly and has a huge family, and father to Tiny Tim.
I play a little orphan caroler. She's very poor. She's a street urchin, and she comes into the play, pops in every now and then singing Noel.
There are some fresh faces and newcomers to the stage front for this production.
I've been working tech most of the time. Now I'm on stage, and it's a really good experience. You know, just working with everybody, and we all come together. It's just a great atmosphere to be in.
This is my first time actually being in front of the curtain, so it's a little different. It's a lot more challenging than what I thought it would be.
As Mr. Manowski begins his 5th year directing at Springford, let's see what our actors think about working with him.
I think Manowski is just an awesome director. He really knows what he's doing, and he relays his stuff to what he does to his students, and he relays all this stuff to us. So.
When I was a freshman, I thought I was the worst actor. I just wanted to be famous. I still do. And I think Mr. Manowski has really built on my acting skills.
A Christmas Carol is a show that pulls out all the stops. So be prepared to see A Christmas Carol December 13th and 14th at 7 p.m. A show to put everyone in the spirit of the holidays. Support the arts and show your Christmas spirit.
Thank you, Dara. Well, this is the end of our show, folks. I hope you've had fun watching our first showing, and I hope you enjoy the outlook of our athletics, our drama department, which was A Christmas Carol, and our choral department.
And we hope you come out and support our different organizations, because that really would mean a lot to us and the school district. But until next time, I'm Bruce Blewett here with Lisa Wetzel. This has been Springford Live. Thank you and good night.